What would be the top 3 things that you would tell people?
Well, I would say take advantage of every opportunity that you can get. Do the right things at the right time. Follow your dreams and go to it.
All right, so Kathy, look here's Poppy, and say a quick hi to him.
Where are you, Poppy? Keep it
Hello
going
there.
Hi, Dad.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I miss you. You look great at 98.
He's got his birthday balloon, and look at his T-shirt there. Looking great at 98. Every year, Katie, our daughter, designs Poppy a new T-shirt. Now we got to figure out what it's going to say for 100. What do you think, Kath?
Well, that's going to be a tuxedo, I think, with
Oh yeah.
with some fun stuff. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a big party in 2 more years, Dad.
She'll think of something good. Katie is a good kid.
Welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave, where today I'm actually out in front of Party City here in Norwalk, Connecticut. I'm taking the Model 3 out to see my father-in-law because it's his 98th birthday. And this is going to be an interesting Your EV journey because even though he never owned an EV, he's lived them vicariously through me. He's pretty much owned every single one of them by being a passenger whenever I get a new one. And I want to hear his thoughts, not only about EVs, but also about his life. He's an amazing guy. His name is George Marshall. He turned 98 on Thursday, and I'm going to go visit him today on Saturday and bring him some fun stuff. I got a balloon at Party City, so let's get into it in the Model 3. We're heading from Connecticut to Long Island. Let's go. Now, George Marshall, my 98-year-old father-in-law, we call him Poppy. And he's just a gentle soul, a good man. He never complains about anything. I mean, you ask him what he wants for dinner, whatever you want. You know, like, do you want to go somewhere? Yeah, okay. Where do you want to go? Wherever you want to go. You know, me, when I hit 98, when someone asks me that, I'm going to be like, all right, look, I want a 7-course meal. I want to start off with a seafood buffet. No, I'm kidding. But, the point is he's just a gentle soul, and he's lived a very amazing life, very hardworking guy. You'll see in the interview, he's just one of these guys that, in my opinion, has built America, right? Has delivered his hard work. He's a vet, Navy vet. Amazing stories about his time in World War II. And, proud of him. What a great guy. So anyway, let's road trip. All right, so here I am, somewhere on Long Island, and I'm at the rehabilitation facility out on Long Island somewhere. I forget the name of the town, but the Model 3 has been flawless. It's great. I was working the phones the whole time. I felt like I wasn't even on I don't know. I looked down. I got 14% state of charge, and no big deal. I'll fill up when I leave here. I got to go to a friend's retirement party this afternoon, retirement pool party. I will not be filming Dave in the bathing suit there, so don't worry. But it should be a real good day, and I can't wait to get inside and see Poppy. So I'm going to grab the balloon. I've got a really cool little T-shirt for him. That's we do this every year for Poppy, and I can't wait to see him. So and I do want to share sort of his spirit, his personality with all of you. Such a great guy, and humble citizen, if you will. I love him. So let's go up there and see George Marshall, my father-in-law, Poppy, 98 years old on Thursday. Oh, amazing guy. Poppy's room. George Marshall has agreed. I didn't think he was going to do it, but he said, yeah, Dave, I'll talk to you. And I have a lot of questions for this man here. And first of all, Poppy, I want to say happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
How do you feel at 98? Your T-shirt says looking great at 98. So how do you feel? What do you have to say for yourself?
Feel the same as I always did.
You feel the same as you always did, huh?
Not when I was young.
Yeah.
Well,
you had a very amazing life. And where were you born? I forget. Were you born in New York City?
Freeport, New York.
Freeport, New York. Okay.
Long Island.
Long Island. And you lived there for until what age did you live in Freeport?
I've been there till I got married. Then I moved to Lynbrook for a year.
Okay.
And then my mother-in-law got sick and we moved into their apartment. And we took care of them for about 5 years.
All right.
Then we had a house built in Massapequa.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
A colonial. And when they had their problems, we expanded the upstairs. And they moved in with us.
Yeah. That's amazing. Now, when you were younger, do you remember what your first car was that you got?
My first car.
Yeah. And when you talk, hey, Poppy, when you talk, you can look right here at this camera because that's how people are going to see you. Tell everybody, what was your first car? What did you have?
Yeah. My first car was a 1949 Studebaker.
Wow. What color was it? Do you remember?
Green.
Green. Wow. Wow, there aren't a lot of green cars on the market these days, but...
Green, I went to a Pontiac green.
Oh, you went to a Pontiac green. Okay.
Yeah, two-tone.
Yeah.
Dark top, white sides.
Okay. And then did you only have one car in the family, or did Nanny also have a car?
The only one I had a car was Bill. And it was right after the war, and he didn't want to spend a lot of money because that's what they were asking at that time.
Yeah.
So he bought a Ford Coupe.
Okay.
What year it was, I don't remember, but it was early.
Right.
Four-cylinder. You could get it started by a crank.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it was good, though. It served its purpose.
Now, Poppy, and you can keep looking right here at this camera. Now, Poppy, you remember, you mentioned that was after the war. So you're a Navy vet, right? Tell me about that. When did you served, what did you do and where did you serve? Tell me about your experience there.
Well, Uncle Sam called and I had to go.
Yeah.
I told him, I says, my mom's home alone. He says, yeah, but you have a sister 2 towns away. So couldn't argue with him. He was the boss.
Yeah. And so you were living on Long Island.
So
and you had to go where? To San Diego? Is that where you...
No, they sent me upstate to Sampson for boot training. They sent me to Chicago for training in signals,
Okay.
like a light, flags, and so on.
So when you say signals, you mean for like for example, communications on ships
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be able to.
Communications from one ship to the other.
And was that were you using Morse code for that?
Yeah. That was the only thing they had then. They didn't have all this walkie-talkie stuff.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And then ultimately from Chicago, you went where? Where did you get deployed out of then? You took a train to Chicago?
They sent me to San Francisco.
Oh, to San Francisco. Okay.
And they assigned me to listen to this one. A 365-foot concrete barge.
A,
No motor, just power steering.
a barge?
Concrete.
Concrete barge. Okay.
They were made for service on the Great Lakes, for shipping goods back and forth.
Wow.
And they used them during the war because as our troops moved up from island to island, we were there with the goods right behind them.
So you were the supply ship.
Supply.
But now, how far did you go with that barge? Where did you go?
We went way the heck out into the Philippines. And when I got discharged, they put me in Manila, and I went home from there.
Wow. I remember you telling me a story about a typhoon. Can you tell everybody about your recollection of the typhoon and what happened to your buddy? I mean, it was a terrible story, but I mean, you know, God bless people like you, Poppy, for serving in our armed forces. Because what happened with that typhoon?
We were being towed by a big tug, harbor tug, and the seas got so rough they cut us loose because they figured if we went down, it would take them along. So they figured, cut them loose, let them go.
Oh, man.
And that's just what they did. And we had 2 good bosun mates, first class, second class. They went aft of the ship to rig a sea anchor, which keeps you headed into the storm and doesn't allow you to turn sideways where you could capsize. And at the time they were back there working, a big wave came along, broke over the whole ship, and washed both bosun mates close. Well, one got saved by going through the bits. He grabbed a hold of the bits where you tie up with. And the other guy, he went under the railing into the ocean. That was it for him. We were told they were surfing for him, you know, but no luck.
And I remember you telling me that your recollection was he was just waving in the ocean.
Yeah, he waved goodbye.
He waved goodbye. Wow. It's just, man, if that doesn't ground you, that kind of story. So, Poppy, thank you so much for your service and what you did. So when you got discharged, you were in the Philippines. And how long did you stay there before you got home? And how did you get home, just out of curiosity?
Well, it wasn't long before they shoved me on a ship. But it was a cargo ship. And we did the northern route, which took us 21 days from the Philippines to California.
21 days on a boat. Wow. That's incredible. And where did that leave you? Back in San Francisco?
I forget exactly where they dumped us. And Then from there, they sent us down to, what is it, Lido Beach or whatever they were using as a naval area at that time.
Right. All right. So
Then they gave me 50 cents and said, go home.
oh man. Oh boy. Well, Poppy, that's an amazing story, an amazing thing. So again, thank you for serving. So you got home, and had you already known Kathy's mom at that point? Had you already known Virginia, or did you meet her after you got home from the war?
Did I what?
Did you meet Nanny when you got home from the war, or did you already know her before you left for the war?
Oh, wow. I met her after.
Yeah, okay, you met her after the war. Okay. And you knew you were in love from the moment you saw her, right? You were swept off your feet, and that was it. Love at first sight.
That was it, right.
And you were married for how many years?
Oh. Well, been 70 years now.
70 years now, right? Yeah.
But
Nanny passed
I forget what year she passed.
6 or 7 years ago, something like that. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
And now I know that you have part of your career when you got back involved vehicles, because here's a guy that would get up every morning and deliver bread. And didn't you work for, was the company Bond Bread?
I started with Bond Bread. From there, they went out of business. I went to Levy's. I tried Entenmann's in the beginning, but they'd look at you and they say, 45, you're too old.
45, you're too old to work for Entenmann's? So you went to Levy's. And what was your job? What did you do? What was your typical day? You got up at what time in the morning?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And you would drive to where the manufacturer of the bread was?
In Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then you would load up your truck with bread, and you had a route, right? You went to all the...
Yeah, well, first off, they gave me a job of route rider. That means when a man is sick, you do his run. Or if he's on vacation, you take it for the 2 or 3 weeks that he is out, and you do your best to do as good as he did, if not better.
And I would imagine that way you can learn the routes, and you get to know the people in the stores, and you can form...
Everybody.
You get to know everybody, and
managers, assistant managers, check-in clerks.
Yeah.
Chick on the side.
Oh boy. And so, but you worked up until when you retired from Entenmann's. And for those of you who don't know Entenmann's, they make some amazing, forget about breads, they make the chocolate chip cookies are to die for, right? What was your favorite Entenmann's product that you served, and how did you stop from eating all the profits? I would have, if it were me, I would have pulled over to the side of the road and eaten all the donuts. No.
You maybe first you would start on a cookie.
You're right.
And after a while you got used to it, so you didn't bother anymore.
Right.
And when they come out with a new product, you had a sample to take home. And then the family told you how it was.
I see. Okay. Well, that's good. And so now the trucks that you were driving around, were those gas or diesel trucks that you drove when you delivered the...
Gasoline.
Gasoline. Okay.
And some of them were real cuties. They had to put scotch tape here and there and hold them together.
Oh, so they were like Tesla build quality, is what you're saying? I'm just kidding. So they were very much used these vehicles heavily in terms of, yeah, that's interesting. And so you would have to get up at 3 in the morning, drive to Brooklyn, fill up the truck with the cakes, deliver all the cakes. And what time would you get home typically during the day?
If I was lucky, 4:30.
4:30.
Otherwise, say 6:30.
Really? That late?
Long days.
Long days. Oh boy. All right. So now I want to shift gears a little bit, Poppy, and I want to talk a little bit about, you've known me a long time, many, many, many years. And one of the things that I think you'll be able to attest to is, am I one of those guys that buys a car and keeps it forever and doesn't switch at all? Is that who I am?
No. If something new come out and you liked it, you tried it.
That's right. That's right. And so as a result of that, hi, how are you? We're good.
Okay.
All right, thank you. So as a result of that was just one of the nurses checking on you, Poppy.
Yeah.
As a result of that, you were able to try out new cars all the time because Dave always had a new car, right?
Right.
And what are some of the cars you remember me having over the years?
You had them all, I think.
But, okay, maybe that's true, and guilty as charged. But remember when I first started getting the electric cars, how excited was I? I think it was maybe the first time I drove up to your house in one of those, it was a hybrid. It was a Toyota Prius.
Yeah.
And I remember showing you how the battery would get replenished with the energy and all that. And the thing that a lot of people don't know about Poppy is that while he delivered cakes for a living, he was a very mechanically and artistic man. What is it that you really wanted to be when you were younger for a career? What was your dream job to do, Poppy, back then?
I had always wanted to be an architect.
An architect, yeah.
And I went to school on Long Island.
Yep, look here at the camera. Look right here at the right over there at the camera.
Drafting school. And learned what I could. He said, the next step is now for you to go into the city and get experience in the city, which at the time I couldn't do. My mother was almost blind, and I was put in charge of housekeeping, cooking, cleaning, and anything that was a woman's job to try to help out.
Yeah. So your family situation prevented you from being able to go to and get experience and pursue your dreams.
Because at that time, I was working at Jones Beach in the carpenter shop, and I got home at 4:30, and the school was 6 o'clock, so it was very hard to try to feed my family and get a train into the city and be ready for school. So I missed out on that.
Oh man, I'm sorry that you missed out on that, but listen,
what can I say?
Now the job you had at Jones Beach, were you building the boardwalk back then? Was that what you guys were doing?
Well, it was maintenance carpentry.
Maintenance carpentry.
But we did a boardwalk. We did mostly repair work on doors and anything that needed fixing up. Baseball stadium, we made benches and all that kind of stuff.
The one thing I have always admired about you, Poppy, is you're very particular. You always have an eye for when something is quality made or not. Like the cabinets, when you open up a dresser drawer and you see how it's made. He was always very, very particular about how things were made. And a lot of that was because he took a lot of pride. You always took pride in what you did and how you built things. And a lot of that is lost in today's day and age. And I don't want to go down a negative path here or anything like that, but there's been lots of advancements in technology and the way things are manufactured today. But the one thing I've always admired about you is your eye for quality and making sure that when things are done, they're done right, and people have integrity and they do them right. And that's what you have always stood for, at least my observation about you, Poppy. So, for that, it's I think people can learn a lesson from you.
Well,
what are your thoughts on that?
I always thought if you don't do it right and just let it skip by, it's not good, because the next guy is going to do the same, then if not worse than what you were doing.
Yeah.
Somebody today, they don't care. I did it. So good, bad, or indifferent, they did it. Pay me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, and I mean, everything, you got to think about that. There's a couple things I want to say to any younger people that are possibly watching this video. Think about how fortunate perhaps you are, in your situation. If you have opportunities to be able to go to school and learn what it is that your dreams are made of, if your parents have the ability to help you out with that, don't take that for granted. If you don't have the ability and you have the hunger and drive to do something, go do it, right? Because that's the way things should be. I know not everyone has the opportunities. In Poppy's case, he had family issues, and he in a lot of ways went to a higher calling. But look, here's a family man who's lived an amazing life, and I'm proud to call him my father-in-law. And he's served his country. He brought up two amazing kids, both Kathy and George, and he's got 4 amazing grandchildren, Kyle being one of them, Katie, Nicole and George on the other side. And it's family is so important, and I know that's important to you. We all miss Nanny, Virginia, and she was always taking care of the family and doing that. But let's shift gears back over to just kind of finish this up a little bit on some of the electric vehicles that, I remember when I got my first Tesla and I drove up, and you'll notice that Poppy's wearing a Tesla hat now. And I think that you, of all the cars I owned, you were fascinated with the Tesla. I don't know if you remember that or comment about it, but what were your thoughts about Tesla?
It was a good deal, but I don't know. I guess I've always been a gasoline man.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
But if you still could drive today, would you drive an EV or would you stick with a gasoline car?
I'd probably end up in electric.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Thank goodness. No, I'm kidding. Listen, there's 2 different technologies that are out there. It's really it's not for everybody at this point in time. But I do remember Poppy, you asking me a lot of questions about how simple the Tesla was inside and where are all the buttons, and I remember it was like, that, Dave, isn't that just a computer on the screen? What is that? Remember, it was just so simple. It was confusing and fascinating at the same time for you.
Yeah, that's a good deal with a computer as long as it works.
That's true, as long as it
keeps
works.
Working.
And keeps working. That's true. Well, listen, Poppy, I want to thank you for for spending time with me. I want to kind of end this part of the video by asking you if you could share your top 3 things for advice for younger people today. What would be the top 3 things that you would tell people and give them advice for?
Well, I would say take advantage of every opportunity that you can get. Pick out what you would like to be, architect, mechanic, shoemaker, or what. Find out all about the job, take all the education you can get, and work at it give it your full attention, do the right things at the right time. Follow your dreams and go to it.
Well, that's great advice, and I don't think anyone can go wrong with that. Follow your dreams and go to it. Poppy, I want to thank you so much for joining here on this special edition of Out of Spec Dave. I mean, you've had not an EV journey, but you've had an incredible journey on your life, and like I mentioned to you all the time, I'm very proud of you, and I know a lot of people that are going to watch this are very proud of you. I know it gets lonely and boring being here, you know, out on Long Island in this facility, and you know, we're very proud of you for never complaining. That's one thing that I admire about you is you never complain, and so
complaining does not change anything.
That's true.
If you want change, you yourself have to work at it.
Yeah, that's absolutely great advice and a true fact. So, well, listen, Poppy, you hang in there. This has been a great chat. I want to thank you again for spending time. I'm going to come over here and say to everyone, thanks again for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave. Poppy, happy birthday to you, my friend.
Thank you, Dave.
You're very welcome. And, you know, to all those who I hope listen to this video, take what he said as fact. This man has lived an incredibly long life. And I'll tell you what, when you turn 100, we're coming back here to the same format, and we're going to see what has happened since then. And who knows what T-shirt Katie's going to make up for you by then? Who knows, right?
I hope so, and I hope I'm able to join you in the interviews.
Absolutely, I'm sure you will. Anyway, everyone, take care and have a great day. Thanks again for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye now.